If you agree with my demands, then I can still choose not to attack you. If he had to fight, then Ziohen did not fully believe that he would be able to defeat Medicine Dust. After all, he himself used to be a powerful medicine venerable, Medicine Dust. Du Huang, standing next to him, saw Ziohen in amazement. Ziohen's war power was actually so terrible that it had reached the Du Huang area. Ziohen's back was soaked with cold sweat. He, Ziohen, had actually provoked such a terrible existence. Hearing Ziohen's words, Ziohen looked at Medicine Dust with glaring eyes. Medicine Dust was his last hope. If Medicine Dust left him and Ziohen saw his hostility towards him, then he would definitely die today. The same words remained astonishing on Medicine Dust's face for a moment. He immediately controlled himself. His eyes were firm and he said, "I am not satisfied because of you. I still choose Zioying. Although I, a venerable doctor, have come to this state today, but I am not such a person that anyone can crush. Little kid, lend me your body." As soon as the words of Medicine Dust were over, without waiting for Zioying's reaction, his soul was transformed into a shell of the body and merged into Zioying's physical body. Today, Sitara Du Huang. In the rank displayed by the system, Ziohen found that in the state of his soul, today Sitara Du Huang was present in Medicine Dust. It's not bad. Seeing Ziohen with a sharp eye, Medicine Dust said, "Little rascal, you know a lot. I am very anxious to keep you alive. You will have to die today." Yao Lao had a sword in one hand and had immersed his entire soul in that priceless sword. Swordsmanship technique. Ziohen raised his arms. He did not understand that Yao Lao was a swordsman. What technique can he have to wield a sword? According to Ziohen's knowledge about Yao Lao, the only move that needed a weapon was probably that move. The fire-breathing tyrant, Ziohen suddenly said. On the other hand, Medicine Dust's eyes were surprisingly a little wide, and his intention to kill Ziohen became even more intense. You really know this old man well. It would be even worse to die at the hands of this earth rank. After this old man's Dao technique, you should be allowed to rest in peace. Jaywala Vibhajan Taring Shasak. Medicine Dust used the sword like a ruler. In martial arts, his skill was unbelievable. As soon as Medicine Dust began to move, strong winds began to blow around. A stream of energy came out of the priceless sword in his hand, which turned into a giant blue wave. From where the wave passed, there was not a single grain of grass left. Flowers, plants, and trees were burned to ashes in a moment. The land on his way exploded by inching. It was not an ordinary wave. It was clearly a huge explosion of fire, which came out of the real soul's pure fire energy. The speed of everything melting and the huge wave filled with the power of Ganesh moved towards Ziohen. As expected from Vaithya Yao Chen, who had once established his dominance over 2 Chimatvis. Even though there was only one soul in the body, the attack by him was so devastating. Ziohen suffered directly and felt the terror inside this earth rank. 2 techniques, fortunately. Now, after using the Dao experience card, his Abha Medicine Dust was also much more powerful. Chaknacher Pathar Kai Hathali. Chaknacher of the Stone Hand, a Dao technique of the Zio family in the city of Nimshrini Utn. Although this was the highest level of the Dao technique, but when it was used, it became a part of the Dao technique of the Zio family. It was the shadow of a huge tree, whose roar was echoing loudly in the air, and the sound of piercing ears was being heard. As the huge tree passed by, the ground was slowly tearing. The strong wind from that huge tree lifted the nearby trees from the roots. Clash. When the huge tree touched the wave of strange fire, it felt as if it was striking hard on the waves of the sea. The lines of strange fire spread all over like drops of water. Whether they are flowers, plants, trees, or heavy rocks, as soon as these terrible fires hit them, they all crumble and turn into a pile of powder. As soon as the impact hit, the peak of the mountain behind the Zio family collapsed due to an infinite surge of energy. After a move, the face of Medicine Dust became very serious, and with a little nervousness, he looked towards Ziohen. Dao technique, excellent purity. The strength of the Tao technique can be divided into 4 areas from bottom: introduction, appearance, primordial appearance, and great purity. What was the rank of the flame dividing wave ruler? 1 art rank, 2 technique. What was the rank of the shattering stone palm? 1 low grade. Medicine Dust was very surprised. Zio-Han had used the lowest Wang rank. To reverse his earth rank, 2 technique, 2 technique. Undoubtedly, there was a gap in one of his areas. However, seeing the heavy gap in his age and the heaviness in 2 technique, rank S, Zio-Han was very surprised to be able to stop him once. In response to this, Medicine Dust praised him and said, "It's not bad. At such a young age, you have done the practice of Huang Nim Shui Nai. Achieving excellence in 2 technique can be called a talent in 2 talents." Zio-Han smiled slightly. Maybe Medicine Dust didn't know that Zio-Han had a system Zio, a golden finger, which gave him the ability to immediately take any 2 technique to great purity. There was no need to practice day and night like ordinary people in this area. Seeing the sign of fear in Medicine Dust's eyes, Zio-Han once again extended his hand of reconciliation and said, "Forget it. You still have time to change your mind. If there was anyone in Ropo Mahadwip who was worthy of Zio-Han's respect, it would be Medicine Dust. If possible, Zio-Han would not take any step against the elders by showing in Zio-Han's words. The message for the elders had changed from Medicine Dust to the elders. Humph, Medicine Dust's eyes were completely still, and he said with determination, "Little children, the same is still the case. You make me very restless. Moreover, I, who am a revered physician, how can I work with such limited resources? Your death is certain from this next step." Suddenly, there was a sudden burst of fire in the eyes of Medicine Dust. Snow on the ground around him began to freeze quickly. The blaze was very strange. The entire ground below the blaze had turned red like iron, as if it had been cooked in fire. Bone Spirit Cold Fire. Zio-Han raised his arms. He knew that this was not a blaze at all. This was the unique feature of Bone Spirit Cold Fire, which was on the 11th place in the strange flame list. At that time, in an attempt to obtain this mysterious fire, Medicine Dust saved his life with the help of Yellow Springs. Yes, this is Bone Spirit Cold Fire. Medicine Dust's eyes lit up blue. Little companion, you invited me with great love, but do not blame me. This world is devoid of self-respect. This is the law of the jungle, where the strong exploit the weak. It is a blessing for you to let me die from this strange fire. It's not true. It was a lie. Zio-Han's display of war power had completely exceeded Medicine Dust's expectations. At this time, Medicine Dust was in a soul body. He had just awakened, and it was very harmful for him to experience a large amount of soul energy and strange flame energy. That's why Medicine Dust wanted to end the war quickly. In addition to this, the palace of the Zio family located in the back hillside had already sensed the turmoil here. Many members of the Zio family were running towards this place. Why did Medicine Dust want to kill Zio-Han? Because Zio-Han knew about his existence. Similarly, if other people knew about his existence, it would have been decided to follow Soul Hall and Gadar Han Fang. He didn't want that. That's why Medicine Dust wanted to end this war quickly. Guruji, run. At this time, System Zio suddenly issued a red warning. Master, Zio's guess is that you have a 99% chance of being unable to resist the Bone Spirit Cold Fire. Despite Zio's warning, Zio-Han remained sad. If he hadn't fought Medicine Dust, Zio-Han wouldn't have believed in success. After the fight, Zio-Han had a chance to win at least 50%. He said calmly, "Forget it, trust me. Even the Bone Spirit Cold Fire in your hand can't be a big threat to me." Arrogance. Arrogance. Medicine Dust acted without wasting any more time. He moved forward to attack Zio-Han with shadows falling on each other like a ghost. Fall, he was blocked. No, he was caught. Seeing this, Medicine Dust was surprised that Zio-Han didn't stop the attack. Looking at Zio-Han's ability, he could have definitely stopped the attack. But Zio-Han didn't do that. Not only did Zio-Han try to escape the attack of Medicine Dust, but the moment medicine dust attacked Ziohan's chest. Ziohan's hand actually grabbed medicine dust's attacker's hand tightly. Medicine dust was very surprised to see Ziohan. What kind of fighting style was this? Medicine dust had spent his entire life fighting, and he had never seen such a style. Anubhav told medicine dust that Ziohan's death was certain. His fighting power was equal at the beginning, but due to the powerful qualities of the terrible heat and the bone's spirit cold fire, Ziohan will be destroyed in that strange fire and will burn to ashes in just 3 seconds. Foolishness. Medicine dust looked at Ziohan with pity and thought that a kid is a kid, very stupid. But the next moment, the face of medicine dust changed. He saw that Ziohan's target was touching the finger bone spirit cold fire. Mad. This was medicine dust's attack on Ziohan. What else can happen other than touching that strange block directly without take it out? Ding dong. Congratulations. You have obtained the unique flame of the bone spirit cold fire, extreme cold and extreme heat flame attribute, which includes the plus 100,000,000 part. When the very cold and very hot ashes were removed from the bone spirit cold fire, a blue light was seen on Ziohan's target finger. Instead of this, Old Yao was only surrounded by a white light. Here the white light was naturally his soul. The power of creation. What's going on? The face of medicine dust changed completely. Seeing the strange law burning on Ziohan's target finger, he said with a painful expression, "Yeah, I have a strange law. How is this possible? My mysterious law and my soul are connected to each other in a practical way. How can he take it without my permission?" Medicine dust was very surprised. He tried to catch him easily. Then Ziohan let go of his hand and kicked him away and threw him away. Immediately after, his target finger slowly came close to his body and he ordered fusion. As soon as Ziohan's order was issued, he began to experience heat and sometimes cold in his body. There was also a big change in Ziohan's form. His skin was turning red and blue from time to time. Hot, very hot. Ziohan hurriedly tore off his clothes as if he was burning in the fire. Cold, very cold. Before Ziohan could breathe, his red skin suddenly turned snowy blue. Even the small pieces of snow around Ziohan also began to fly. Wow, my bone spirit is making the cold fire even better. On the one hand, medicine dust surprisingly saw Ziohan. After losing his divine flame, there was a lot of darkness in his eyes. In front of Ziohan, who was creating the divine flame, medicine dust had a glimpse of darkness in his eyes, and the corners of his lips were slightly curved. When I had created the real fire, I was almost dead. If there was no help of medicine bullets, I would have definitely died. You are only on level 2 now, yet you are daring to create the divine flame. Medicine dust was not in a hurry to purify the heavenly flame for Ziohan. If medicine dust's prediction was correct, then in 10 breaths, Ziohan will be unable to bear the unbearable qualities of the real soul's cold fire and will turn into a snow statue. Therefore, medicine dust was not in a hurry. He was unable to bear Ziohan's bone spirit cold fire and was waiting to embrace his own death. 1, 2, 3. Medicine dust was quietly counting his breaths. When he counted to 4, he became almost a stone. The color of Ziohan's skin had actually become normal. Ding dong. Congratulations, the fusion attribute was successful. In the extreme cold and extreme heat flame attribute, plus 100,000,000,000 got the number. Then, yes, it was really successful. Ziohan was very happy. Remembering that moment, the pain was much more unbearable than even the 10 horrors of the king's dynasty. If a few more seconds had passed, then Ziohan might not have been able to bear the unbearable qualities of the real soul's cold fire, and would have the fusion of bone spirit cold fire the only benefit. The answer is definitely not. Definitely, the voice of System Zio was heard immediately. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have successfully reversed the story by snatching the bone spirit cold fire that you will get in the future of Ziohan. In this way, you have taken his opportunity. Reward, experience number, 100,000 number. Reward 2,000 number. As soon as the voice of the system was lowered, Zio-Han once again felt a hot stream flowing from his brain, which was nourishing his entire body. It did not end there. Zio-Han also felt a tingling in the lower part of his stomach. This is possible. Zio-Han assumed a possibility. The voice of the system confirmed his thoughts. Ding dong. Congratulations, the experience number has been completed. It is being upgraded. You have obtained 3 levels in a row. Current rank, 3 stars, dose, 1 area. Ding dong. Congratulations. For the first time, you are awarded a lottery ticket to WoW. Really, 2 things. 1. The fighting cycle has been successfully organized. Zio-Han could feel the hot experience coming from his teeth. At this time, there was a red and blue circle inside his teeth, whose shape was exactly like the Tai Kai symbol. Not only that, I have advanced 3 levels and obtained 3 stars, dose, 1 area. Going 3 steps ahead at once, despite being surprised, Zio-Han could even understand it. What is Bone's Spirit Cold Fire? This is a powerful heavenly fire, which is in the 11th place in the Heavenly Fire ranking. What is the Heavenly Fire? This is the supreme treasure of the Du Kai Mahadweep. Its weakness is in the 2nd place after the Empire that is being taken in the future, with the power of Bone's Spirit Cold Fire produced by Zio-Yan Medicine Dust. Du Qi will establish dominance over the Mahadweep. Zio-Han has changed such an important turn of the story. Therefore, the award of 100,000 experience points is completely appropriate. He is not dead. On the one hand, Medicine Dust saw Zio-Han even more surprised. Seeing Du Kai Uzumaki around Zio-Han, his jaws opened even more deeply, and it seems that he has made a lot of progress. After a fierce battle, he moved on again. His energy boost seemed to have made him progress 3 levels continuously. At this time, Medicine Dust was unable to stop himself from asking himself whether it was his stubborn decision to choose Zio-Yan instead of Zio-Han was right or wrong. Yes, now I have got your Bone Spirit Cold Fire. Zio-Han looked at Medicine Dust with great satisfaction. Oh, Medicine Dust's eyes fell on Zio-Han. Due to losing Bone Spirit Cold Fire, his fighting power had become very low. Now he was unable to compete with Zio-Han. Whoosh! Medicine Dust jumped and miraculously flew down the mountain. Zio-Han saw Medicine Dust running in fear and felt very proud of himself. Zio-Han, didn't you think that it was 90% likely that I would die at his hands? Oh, Zio-Han whispered to Medicine Dust, Gyuruji, Zio-Han has made a bright future based on the war power of both sides and the experience of war. If Medicine Dust had not been so impatient and had not fought directly with Gyuruji, but had fought a long distance, Gyuruji would not have been able to defeat Medicine Dust. Getting a chance to fight in front of you and taking advantage of it and taking out the Bone Spirit Cold Fire of the opposition is far away. Oh, Zio-Han did not break the words of Zio-Han. In fact, if this fight had gone on for a long time, then there would have been a time limit to Zio-Han's Doguin area. In reality, Zio-Han was not an opponent of Medicine Dust. However, in reality, there was no if. Medicine Dust, who was in a spiritual state, did not suspect Zio-Han's divine power. He wanted to end the fight as soon as possible, which gave Zio-Han the opportunity to win this game. If Medicine Dust had not come, then Zio-Han would not have been able to use his divine power. And no, he would not have been able to get his divine sword. Someone is coming, Zio-Han reminded him. After waiting for a while, the worried members of the Zio family had already climbed half the mountain. The head of the Zio family, Zio-Zhan, and the 3 great elders of the Zio family had almost reached the top of the last mountain. Reminding him, Zio said, Gyuruji, have you thought about how to explain this is a problem? Zio-Han examined his surroundings. Due to the fight with Medicine Dust, the top of the last mountain of the Zio family had collapsed, and the green forest of the previous one had now been completely destroyed. If he could not explain it, then he does not explain it at all. System, end the experience of Du Huang as soon as possible. As soon as Zio-Han ordered, there was a heavy fall in his abha, or fell from the top of Du Huang and reached the 3-star dose area. Hey, Both Du Huang's had disappeared. In a hurry, Zhao Zhan and the three great elders looked at each other. They increased their speed. When they reached the top of the mountain behind, they saw that Zhao Han was lying undoubtedly. Zhao Han was not dead. He was just pretending to sleep with his apa. Then, his Du Huang apa also disappeared. Zhao Yan did not run away, but later met the coming disciples and returned to the battlefield. Little Badmash, this man named Zhao Han is very strange. From now on, both of you will be like water. In the opinion of this old man, you should leave the Zhao family now. With the support of this old man, I can make you capable of killing him myself in medicine. Dust looked at Zhao Yan's fist and could feel the anger in Zhao Yan's heart. Leave the Zhao family. Zhao Yan looked at Zhao Zhan, who was busy instructing the disciples of the Zhao family to search for the mountain behind. He shook his head and said, "No. Little Badmash, Zhao family's supplies are limited. I can't help you progress quickly in a short time." Medicine Dust then said, "Leaving the Zhao family can make everything an opportunity for you. Do you want to be tied to such a small family?" "Still not." Zhao Yan stubbornly refused and said, "Zhao Han behaves very hostile towards me. I am afraid that he can harm my father. At least there is no time to leave the Zhao family now. No matter how dangerous it is, I want to stay with my father." In the face of Zhao Yan's deep loyalty, Medicine Dust could only sigh and sigh. Little Badmash, he was a little relieved that he did not choose the more talented Zhao Han, but chose Zhao Yan, who had the power of chemical science. Physical formation seeing Zhao Yan's firm resolve, Medicine Dust said, "Okay, but you don't have to worry. If this old man's guess is correct, then Zhao Han must have used some kind of physical art to increase his fighting power permanently. There is definitely a time of weakness in any such physical art. In the meantime, you can stop and see if you can kill him." The next day, when the first ray of dawn fell on the earth, Zhao Han opened his eyes. He took a deep breath. "Hainer, you are finally awake." As soon as Zhao Han opened his eyes, his mother's face rose with joy and he happily said, "Hainer, you scared your mother so much that she died." "Mother?" Zhao Han was a little surprised. He saw that not only his mother was in his room, but also his father Zhao Hao and his grandfather, who was a very similar third elder of the Zhao family, were also present. "Father, grandfather. Hey little devil, you're finally awake." Zhao Hao laughed and started scolding Zhao Han, who had 3 parts guilt and 7 parts worry. "Now you are not a child, can't you worry your mother less? Do you know how worried your mother was about you last night?" Worried. That's when Zhao Han remembered what happened yesterday. Actually, Zhao Han had pretended to sleep to avoid all these complications. But unfortunately, after the fierce battle, he was very tired. Especially after lighting that strange fire, Zhao Han also suffered a lot of torture. He was really very tired. That's why, in the end, he really slept. Although Emperor Zhao Hao said so, still Zhao Han felt that Emperor Zhao Hao's mental state was very bad. It was clear that he did not sleep well all night because he was worried about not only Emperor Zhao Hao, but also Zhao Han's mother and her grandfather, the third elder of the Zhao family, Zhao Ding Tian, were also looking depressed and unwell. Perhaps Zhao Han did not know that, after showing his skill in the Zhao family hall, his 3 closest relatives re-evaluated Zhao Han. They saw Zhao Han with a new perspective. "Enner, you don't know, your grandfather had also invited the chemist. Last night, the test was done. But the result was the same as that of the other doctors. They did not have any problem." Zhao Han's mother went ahead and said, "You don't know, your father was also very worried last night. His tongue is sharp, but his heart is soft. Don't take his words seriously." "Humph," Emperor Zhao Hao said while growling. "No problem was found. This is absolute nonsense. He was just sleeping, deep sleep. How could he get any trouble? Hainer, you were absolutely fine, then how did you reach the mountain behind? You never liked the mountain behind." And what happened on the mountain behind yesterday? Zhao Han's mother was still worried about Zhao Han. On the other hand, Emperor Xiao Hao and Xiao Ding Tian were also looking at Xiao Han with curiosity. Xiao Han did not dislike the mountain behind. The point was that ever since he found out that his opponent Xiao Yan always goes to the mountain behind to save him, he had stopped going there. Seeing his three close relatives inquiring about yesterday's events, ready from the beginning, Xiao Han said sadly, "Has our Xiao family not yet found out what actually happened here?" "No," Xiao Ding Tian shook his head lightly. "Oh," seeing the eyes of his three close relatives still on himself, Xiao Han shook his hand and said, "Don't look at me. I don't even know what happened. Yesterday I was passing through the valley of the mountain. Suddenly I saw a mysterious person, and then I went to the last part of but before I could understand anything else, he made me unconscious." Xiao Han said his prepared excuse. It was quite difficult to explain the existence of the system Xiao, the Huang experience card, and the medicine dust. For now, he could only tell a lie. Emperor Xiao Hao and the other two had a little hope from Xiao Han in the beginning. They were a little disappointed to hear about Xiao Han. However, knowing that Xiao Han is safe and healthy, their disappointment was relieved. Only Xiao Dingtian inquired passionately, "But how did your meditation reach 3 stars and 2 zodiacs?" "What?" On the one hand, Emperor Xiao Hao looked at Xiao Dingtian with great surprise, then looked at Xiao Han and said, "Father, are you saying that Han has already become a member of the 2 zodiacs?" "Yes." Xiao Dingtian, with his beard, looked very satisfied with Xiao Han and said, "And that 3 stars are of 2 zodiacs." "Oh no, Naughty, tell me quickly. Until yesterday you were only on the 9th level. How did you become a member of 3 stars and 2 zodiacs overnight?" Emperor Xiao Hao was not scolding, but he was looking at Xiao Han with great excitement and surprise. "Wow, 3 stars and 2 zodiacs," Xiao Han said while pretending to be surprised. "Oh wow. While sleeping, I was so lost that not only did I create 2 zodiacs at once, but I also became a member of 3 stars and 2 zodiacs." "Nonsense. Or are your 3 stars and 2 zodiacs? Tell me quickly, how did you suddenly react so quickly, and how did you cross 3 and 3 stars?" Emperor Xiao Hao was very proud. He was very proud to have Xiao Han as his son. In the form of 2 zodiacs, the person reaches the 9th level of the 2 zodiacs and forms a chakra in his teeth. When successful, he actually becomes the lord of the 2 zodiacs. It sounds easy to hear, but it is difficult to do. For example, at that time, the head of the tribe, Xiao Zhan of the Xiao family, and the 3 great elders were all unsuccessful in forming the chakra at least twice. On the contrary, Xiao had not only successfully created the 2 zodiac chakra, but also made progress in many ways. This achievement can be called an all-time rare talent. Such an extraordinary talent has never been seen in the history of the father. I was really just sleeping, and then suddenly I got success. Xiao Han replied to Emperor Xiao Hao in a mischievous way. "You are a child." Emperor Xiao Hao smiled lightly. His intention was to scold Xiao Han a little in the joke. Next to him, the 3rd head of the Xiao family, Xiao Dingshan, waved his hand and stopped Emperor Xiao Hao's question. "Emperor Xiao Hao, our grandsons are just out of coma. Let them rest. Let's go out first." Facing the words of Xiao Dingshan, Emperor Xiao Hao did not dare to refuse as he was a son. Emperor Xiao Hao was walking out of Xiao Han's room behind him, and Xiao Dingshan suddenly asked, "Emperor Xiao Hao, what do you think about this?" Emperor Xiao Hao looked at Xiao Dingshan and replied, "Father, it is clear that Hainer is hiding something. The turmoil that broke out in the battle that took place on the mountain behind yesterday, its power of war had probably reached the 2nd level. The success of Hainer is also possibly due to this. Many incidents have occurred in our Xiao family in the past 2 days. Looking at Hainer's rapid progress in these 2 days, I also suspect that perhaps some expert is guiding her behind the curtain." Xiao Dingshan, waved his head with a beard. "My guess is the same as yours. However, since Hainer does not want to say anything, we do not need to ask. Looking at the current situation, this expert does not have any ill feelings towards our Xiao family." "Yes, Father." Emperor Xiao Hao nodded and agreed. Xiao Han and Xiao Dingshan outside the room probably did not know that Xiao Han, who kept their conversation extremely sensitive, had heard the conversation. Their attitude towards the events of yesterday, and the attitude of the entire Zio family, was exactly what Zio Han wanted. According to the original story, today is the day when Zio Yan goes to buy medicinal ingredients and prepares Yao Lao's spirit-gathering liquid. However, Yao Lao does not have a bone spirit coal fire now. I am surprised at what effect it will have on the rest of the story. Zio Han was also feeling a little anxious and a little scared. Once there is a change in the original story, it will be difficult for him to control every move of Zio Yan and medicine dust from the point of view of still. I should go and see first. Zio Han got up, took a bath, and had a simple breakfast. As soon as he came out of the courtyard, he met the person who had just entered the room. Ah, a beautiful, sweet voice, like a yellow aureole, fell into Zio Han's ears. Zio Han looked at that person carefully. The new girl was wearing a light green-colored dress, on which flowers of spring and winter were made, and a gold thread was made on the side. This was giving her a purity and a subtle attraction on her face. Together with her soft eyes, this dress was increasing the beauty of that girl even more. Jiume. Zio Han had seen many beauties, and there was a strong possibility of confrontation in it. Cautiously, Sister Zio Mi was not inferior to Zio Jun in appearance in any way. If we compare them correctly, then Zio Jun was like a flower blooming from the mud, while Zio Mi was like a beautiful spring flower. Zio Han, you woke up. Zio Mi looked at Zio Han with a little surprise. Zio Han shook his head. Before his mother left, Zio Han found out that only Zio Mi had come to possibly. This girl entered his courtyard because she wanted to go and meet Zio Han. Zio Han praised her by shaking his head. The beauty like the flowers of spring, which has not been broken, which presents itself with shame, often opens up in its fragrant fragrance and fragrance, even though it is hidden in the depths between the trees. Zio Mi, you are really looking very beautiful today. Zio Han, you are teasing me. Zio Mi's face turned red with shame. What did Zio Han mean by this? Was he writing a love poem in the form of a love story? But these words were so sweet to hear, much better than the compositions of Gyumandu poets. He never expected that Zio Han would not only have extraordinary talent and eloquence, but would also have literary skill. Jiumi looked at Zio Han with shame. This look was as if a mother-in-law was looking at her son-in-law. The more she looks, the happier she gets. Zio Han is also very beautiful. Why didn't I pay attention first? Zio Mi, what are you thinking? Would you like to go out with me? Zio Han invited. Hey, where do you want to go? Then Zio Mi came out of her imaginary world. Zio Han mischievously pointed at Zio Mi's forehead and laughed and said, Hey girl, what were you thinking now? I said that I am going to the market of the Zio family. Would you like to come with me? Zio Han, are you inviting me? Zio Mi looked at Zio Han with a little surprise. The Zio family seemed calm from above, but from the inside, growth had begun gradually. The Zio family was full of great ambition, youth, and strength. He was planning to join many other elders to weaken the power of the three. The three great elders were at the last stage of their lives, and their strong bond had been established in Kitsuchi. Naturally, they wanted to secure more power for their descendants. Facing this decision, they naturally strongly opposed it. Zio Han may not know, but last night the other elders actually said that Zio Han is talented and intelligent, and they were already thinking of getting Zio Mi married to Zio Han. Zio Han shook his head and asked, What? Don't you want to go? Zio Mi was quite satisfied to hear Zio Han's words. This was the Doji Mahapik, where marriage was always decided by the parents. If the emotions get the chance to develop, then what more does Zio Mi need? And she followed her thoughts and said, It is such a coincidence that I have been practicing caddy for the past few days, and I also want to go to the market. Okay. Zio Han was very happy. How not to make this opportunity a good one? According to the story of Doshin, Zio Mi was a very loyal person, whom Zio Yang had finally abandoned. But she returned to the lost Kama kingdom in now. Zio Yang's talent had not yet achieved its former glory, At least this was the case in the eyes of the members of the Zio family. When the iron is hot, break it. Zio Han understood this principle. At that moment, Zio Han's hand moved towards Zio Mi. Zio Mi was so shocked that she wanted to pull her hand back, but she found that Zio Han had held her hand tightly. Her heart was filled with surprise and joy, and she shouted, "Zio Han, brother is holding his sister's hand. Is this forbidden?" Zio Han laughed. Seeing Zio Mi quiet, Zio Han left the main residence of the Zio family. Zio Han and Zio Mi had a heated debate between the members of the Zio family. On these comments, Zio Mi's face turned red with shame. She bowed her head down, did not dare to look into the eyes of the members of the Zio family. Not even the servants dared to look at her. Zio Mi did not realize that she had left the main residence of the Zio family until they had completely come out. Her mind was almost empty. Zio Han was also very calm. He did not challenge Zio Mi's emotional tolerance. He just held Zio Mi's hand. "Oh, Zio Mi, are you feeling very hot?" On the way, Zio Han first asked quietly and suddenly with a mischievous smile. "Hey, I'm fine, I'm fine." "It's not too hot," Zio Mi unknowingly replied. "Is this the first time when a person of the opposite sex has held your hand?" Zio Han continued to ask. Zio Mi shook her head. Suddenly, when she remembered something, she looked at Zio Han. She was a little surprised to see the mischievous look on her face. Then she tripped in a tantrum, put her feet on Zio Han's feet and said in a mischievous way, "Zio Han, you are very mischievous. Are you scolding your sister?" When Zio Mi scolded in a mischievous way, there were slight dimples on the corners of her lips, and Zio Han became somewhat attracted to her self-assertive nature. She unknowingly said, "Zio Mi, you are really very beautiful." "Zio Han, you are scolding me again. Zio Han." Suddenly, Zio Mi's eyes became very serious, and she came and said, "Zio Han, you should know about my past." "Isn't it past? What past?" Zio Han stopped, then asked, "Are you talking about Zio Yan?" "Yes," Zio Mi clarified, "Zio Han, when I was very young. Grandpa wanted to strengthen the relationship with the head of our family, and he kept trying to get Zio Yan and me married. Fortunately, due to problems related to Zio Yan's worship, Grandpa stopped thinking and stopped putting pressure on me. Zio Han, nothing happened between me and Zio Yan at that time. Today, for the first time, a person of the opposite sex has really held my hand. There were more than 1,000 people in the main house of the Zio family who were equal to a village in China. Zio Mi, although she was the younger sister of Zio Yan and Zio Han, but her blood relation was more than 3 generations. They could have been lifelong companions in China too. Forget about the past of these 2 great men. Hey, Zio Han laughed and said, "Are you so close to me because of your grandfather, the other great elder?" "No, Zio Han," Zio Mi explained with concern. "If it had been before, maybe I would have agreed. But yesterday, seeing the bravery of Nalan Yanran, and my talent is also good, I feel that like Nalan's sister, I also have the right to get my happiness. Yes, Grandpa and Father had the same intention last night, but it is my own will to go shopping with you. This has nothing to do with them. Today, for the first time, a person from a different link has really held my hand. If I didn't have a good feeling for you in my mind, I wouldn't have let you hold my hand at all. Ding dong, congratulations. By revering the story of the document and confirming the help of the Father Zio Mi, you have received 1/10 of the experience value, i.e. 30,000 points. Ding dong, congratulations. Your experience points have been completed and you have reached a level above. The current rank is 4 stars from 2. I got experience points again unknowingly. This is really a pleasant surprise. Zio Han felt that his level has once again gone up a rank. Remembering the words of the system, Zio Han asked in confusion, "Wait." The system Zio Han only gave 1/10 of the experience points. What is going on after all? Master, the system Zio Han explained that the mind of the helper Zio Mi has only good feelings for you. His mind has just started loving. He has not yet given true love to Zio Mi. Therefore, the experience points you will get are only 1/10 of the total 1/10. Zio Han's mind was surprised, and he asked, "So if I get the true love of Zio Mi, I will get 300,000 experience points. Yes, master. 300,000. Oh my God. This means that I can level up about 10 times in a row. I can level up 10 times in a row just to impress a girl. This Ajay Vidwan's process is really very powerful. Undoubtedly, Ziohan had also clearly understood that true love is not something that can be obtained forcibly. An opportunity is needed for it, and it should be developed naturally. Then the level went up again. Around Ziohan, Dujai's smile was shining. This was a clear sign of progress in meditation. The sight seen from Zio-Mi's eyes brought joy to Ziohan's mind, but at the same time it also filled a kind of emptiness in his heart. The day before yesterday, both Zio-Mi and Zio-Han were at Dujai's feet. They were shoulder to shoulder in the same color. Now, Zio-Mi was not realizing the special area of Zio-Han. She was only able to feel that the distance between her and Zio-Han has increased again. Looking at Zio-Mi's face, Zio-Han asked with concern, "What happened, little sister Zio-Mi?" Zio-Mi gently rubbed her palm and asked with self-respect, "Brother Zio-Han, what am I? Am I not worthy of you anymore? Why are you saying this?" Zio-Han asked, "Your meditation has progressed rapidly. And I, even after 2 days, am still at Dujai's feet. Daram." Zio-Han lovingly pointed at Zio-Mi's forehead and, smiling at her, scolded her and said, "Stupid girl, what are you thinking? Your talent is better than before. You have only faced more talent than me. That's it. With your meditation, it will not be a big deal to become any kind of king, emperor, or priest in the future, even to become a Taoist saint. Anyway, when two people are in love, then people and all such things become momentary." Brother Zio-Han, Zio-Mi's eyes became teary and she looked at Zio-Han, her fist tightened even more. Zio-Mi had decided that no matter what happens, she would have to meditate with devotion in the future and would have to become Zio-Han's strongest assistant. No, she will become Zio-Han's best assistant. Looking at Zio-Han's talent, she will definitely become a prominent person. She did not want to stop Zio-Han. Brother Zio-Han, where are we going? Zio-Mi saw that Zio-Han was taking her to the edge of the market of the Zio family. Just follow me, trusting your memory. Zio-Han was not sure that the person she was going to meet was Zio-Yan. This is Brother Zio-Yan and Zio-Shuner. While walking, Zio-Mi pointed at Zio-Han. Zio-Han stopped for a while. He was happy, but he was also a little worried. He was happy that Zio-Yan had not left his place. In fact, according to the story, he was still roaming with Zio-Shuner in this way. He could keep an eye on every activity of Zio-Yan from the he was worried because Zio-Yan had gone to buy groceries to purify the gathering liquid. This indicates that even if Zio-Han had taken the real spiritual fire of Yao Lao, she still had the ability to do chemistry. In addition, according to the story's story, Zio-Yan will get a small opportunity. In a shop on the side of the road, in just 470 gold coins, he will get the ability to dry a piece of black iron, thick iron, the ability to dry the ability to dry the palm, the ability to dry the palm. If it is developed to the maximum capacity, then it can also dry 1,000 stones. If it is used against an enemy with extreme force, then it can forcibly draw blood from the human body. Due to being familiar with the story of Dao Tian, Zio-Han was very fond of this magical and entertaining Jobenpalm. Today, Zio-Han's main purpose of going out was also to take advantage of the opportunity of the other party. Wudang City was very big, and the market of the Zio family was also very big. Initially, Zio-Han was worried that she might have chosen the wrong way. Looking at Zio-Yan and Zio-Shuner ahead, Zio-Han found out that he had not gone the wrong way. "Hurry up." Zio-Han pulled Zio-Mi and ran ahead. If his guess was correct, the two techniques to record the absorbing palm were in the depth of this market. Upon reaching the depth, Zio-Han was worried, because he found that there were many stalls selling pieces of black iron in the depth of the market. Oh, Zio-Han and Zio-Mi, Zio-Yan stopped a little. Unknowingly, he stopped and started looking at Zio-Han and Zio-Mi, who were Zio-Shuner saw the expression on Zio-Yan's face, and there was already some unhappiness in his eyes. Yesterday, Zio Shuner did not forget how Zio Han had targeted Zio Yan, which made Zio Yan feel very insulted. Undoubtedly, Zio Shuner, blinded by love, did not think about this issue with Zio Han had solved the problem very well. Zio Shuner helped Zio Yan to upset Zio Han easily. Seeing Zio Han, Zio Shuner felt as if he was sitting on a pile of copper all of a sudden. His eyes were filled with anger. Last night he wanted to kill Zio Han, but last night the guard of Zio Han's room, the third head of the Zio family, a great sinner, did it all night. That's why she couldn't succeed. Now in the light of the day, she could not kill Zio Han easily. Seeing Zio Yan's very hostile eyes, Zio Shuner said with some sorrow, "Brother Zio Yan, let's go there." "Why do we have to go there? Is it just because he is here?" Zio Yan moved forward and started moving towards Zio Han. Like Zio Han, Zio Yan was also taking a look at the stalls on the spot. After a while, Zio Yan found a crystal on a stall, which he needed, the crystal that feeds the wild fox. If the master likes it, its price is only 500 gold coins. "Ah, my brothers got a lot of injuries in killing this wild fox." A seller on the side of the road increased the price by getting angry. "This is very expensive. How will 470 be?" Zio Yan picked up a pile of goods and continued to bargain with the seller's eyes lit up. He looked at Zio Yan with bitter eyes. First, he wanted to say something. Seeing that the goods were not valuable, he was about to agree immediately. Then suddenly a voice was heard. "Wait." Street vendor, Zio Shuner and Zio Yan all looked towards the talk. Zio Yan raised his legs a little. His face was serious. He suddenly had a bad suspicion. "Really," Zio Han said in a low voice, "Seller, I want a piece of black iron." "Oh, 4-star rose." Zio Yan's mind was full of doubt on the face of the what? 4 stars rose. Zio Yan was a little surprised. Yes, after all, how did this kid do this? At night, at midnight, not only did he successfully create but he also had a great jump in his meditation, and he reached the level of 4 stars rose. Zio Lao's voice was also very serious. "Wait, didn't you say that he would have a weak period? Still, how is he so strong and how did he come here?" Zio Yan asked in confusion. "I don't know. This boy is very strange, but one thing is for sure. At that time, by using some unspecified technique, he had obtained the strength of a martial arts master, a war master, Shikar. Now the time has passed. His meditation has returned to normal. Now is not the time to kill him." Actually, Zio Han did not know, and neither did Zio Shuner. Last night, she was not the only one to kill Zio Han. Zio Han had taken Zio Lao's secret fire, and Zio Lao had also gone. He wanted to take advantage of Zio Han's weakness and kill him and wanted to get his secret fire back. The point is that the situation was just like Zio Shuner, the third leader of the Zio family, and even in the eyes of Zio Dingshan, he could not succeed. This is not right. Zio Shuner saw Zio Han with sadness, not with anger, but with a sense of guilt. Just one look made Zio Han feel a sense of hatred. Zio Han's heart sank and he thought, "What a terrible girl she is." Just by one look, it seemed as if Mount Tai was putting pressure on me. The only hope from the person who kept the Golden Emperor Sky Burning Flame was that it was on the 4th place in the list of Swarajwala. If I didn't have Bone's spirit Cold Fire, which is a famous Swarajwala, maybe I would have proved myself a fool today. Zio Han calmly looked at Zio Shuner and slowly activated the divine fire within him. Damon's terrible feeling disappeared immediately. He replied, "The buyer has not yet paid, and the seller has not agreed to this deal has not yet been finalized. As a customer, I have the right to buy it." "Oh," Zio Shuner's eyes opened a little. He looked at Zio Han with great surprise. Just now, Zio Shuner actually wanted to fool Zio Han so that the day after tomorrow, Zio Han could take revenge for targeting Zio Yang. Zio Shuner did not expect that Zio Han would be able to easily throw the divine fire created by the Golden Emperor Sky Burning Flame. Although his current level was still very low, but he was sure that his father could force Zio Han to bow down in front of Zio Yang. At least she will force him to look down. Zio Shuner never expected that the divine fire created by the Golden Emperor sky burning flame could be removed so easily by Zio Han. Swarajwala Zio Shuner's thin arms shrank even more. There was only one explanation for the fact that the Swarajwala of the Golden Emperor was able to throw Zio Han easily, and that Zio Han was only in 2 areas. Zio Han had a divine fire. How can Zio Han have a divine fire? Is it possible that the ancestors of the Zio family, Zio Zhuang, have left a divine fire that has been going on for generations? Or how is it possible? According to the information of the ancient generation, the ancestors of the Zio family, Zio Zhuang, the Golden Emperor, the ancestors and many other powerful people were badly injured and killed by joint efforts. It is true that Zio Zhuang had a divine fire in his lifetime, and he also had it. However, after the death of Zio Zhuang, he did not give any divine fire genetically. Is it possible that the information obtained by the ancient generation is wrong? Did Zio Zhuang cast a divine fire before his death? As Zio Shuner thought about it, he got even more confused. He immediately reversed his previous assumption. If the Zio family had a divine fire, would they ever have a divine fire like this?